Greetings men, greetings women, welcome to my humble abode. So here we go, another video from Bizarrian Entertainment, or Hyperborean Entertainment if I get round to changing the name. So, what should we talk about today? Lots to talk about, there's lots going on. Donald Trump, what's going on in the German Parliament, and some talk about Hollywood. Not just Hollywood, but the various TV series and shows and things like this. I'm going to start though with the bait and switch method. This concerns Hollywood and the mass media in general, but it's mostly used with Hollywood and the TV, the big screen and the small screen. Okay. Now, one of the things that is commonly spoken about, not just in nationalist circles, but in alt-right circles and conservative circles, is when these TV shows and movies are made, the screenwriters aren't writing for our benefit, okay? They are writing to the benefit of the globalist big picture, which is heavily Jewish in origin, although not exclusively Jewish in origin. And one of the cornerstones of this is they'll get you watching the movie. They'll sex it up. They'll make it nice and appealing. There'll be trailers, you know, really showcasing it and everything. And so then this gets a lot of people to go watch it. You know, people from all avenues of the political spectrum, the ideological spectrum, you name it. And with TV series, it goes on as well, although in a slightly different form. What am I talking about with the bait and switch method then, regarding this? The answer is in the phrase, they bait you and then they switch. So they bait you with one thing, they get you in, they've got your money, they've got your arse sat on the seat watching what they've made, and then some way into the movie they'll switch things. It'll all become switched. So what you liked about the movie, and often this is done at the start of the movie, will be turned on its head. And they've been doing this for decades, but only in the recent 2 or 3 decades is it really started to be used a lot more. And it is used time and time again, and people haven't, and it's a tribute, if you want to call it a tribute, to their mind games and illusionary prowess, that they've kept on doing it for so long, and only now are people starting to say, you know, fucking Hollywood movies, Jew-run Hollywood, flipping liberal, progressive, Marxist agendas, left, right and centre, mass media, things like this. But they've been doing this for decades. It's been going on for decades, this bait and switch method. I mean, I should make more videos about this, just talking about... You could analyse all these films they've made, and you could really go through it blow by blow, where it's taken place, what the bait was, what the switch was, and all this kind of stuff. But the answer is always the same. They bait you with something that appeals to you as a Western, white, middle-class, working-class kind of guy, and they'll get you watching the film, and then by the time the credits have rolled, the switch has already taken place. And you've witnessed the change in that film. So the film could start, I'll give you a broad example. The hero is there, and he's normally there fighting for what the hero believes in and what is right, what is fair. Then there'll be like the element of the higher authority figure that he sort of answers to and aspires to be, you might say. And by the end of the movie, the wise figure, the king figure, the leader figure, has been made out to be either the villain, in cahoots with the villain, perverted, corrupted, the negative side, the side that the hero was fighting against in a way, or maybe a little bit ambivalent to, is all of a sudden the good guy all along. And so your brain is suddenly, or led to believe, to be disconnected from what the hero originally stood for. You know? This is brainwashing. This is what they do. This is fucking brainwashing. You have watched a film with a storyline where the hero has suddenly been changed from what he was to what he is, and what he is not what the natural order often is. Now, I'm being very broad here. Now, not every Hollywood movie follows this formulaic path, but they almost always start with the hero or the theme being one of, this is what's going on, this is what they're doing. By the end of it, you'll suddenly find they've done like a 90-degree turn. Of the hero all of a sudden twisted and distorted to be more universalist, more multicultural, less ethnocentric, and all these kinds of things. It all basically is something that is brainwashing you to believe more in a globalist view, I say, a more Jewish view, which is what a Jewish view very much is. The Jewish view is very multicultural. It's very no borders. They want to break down borders. You'll notice in a lot of films the hero will start out with a weapon. He'll start out with the warrior's, what represents the warrior, not just the warrior himself and being the warrior, but also what the warrior has to fight with, to defend himself with, to attack with. And by the end of the movie, the hero often loses this. He often has lost, he has surrendered his weaponry in the guise of being dominated by a feminine theme. You know, and in some ways you might say, well, that's nice because it's a happy ending and the hero's got the lady of his dreams, or, you know, he has to go into the sunset. Well, yeah, fine, sure. But the theme always seems to reflect a disempowerment. There's a disempowerment theme, often as a crux of it.
Alright, I'm going to basically give you something to come up on the screen now that's going to explain a contrast to what I'm talking about, because it's good to know something that like is opposing Hollywood, or films that tend to be anti-Hollywood in a discreet and sometimes overt fashion. And I'm going to describe them now. I reference basically it's the Italian movies that were made in the 70s and 80s, and to a very, very lesser extent Orion and other very small movie studios that were in California producing films, but they tended to be very low budget, B-movie grade, but they sometimes tended to be a bit the opposite of the bait and switch. They were actually more, dare I say it, pro-white.